That image of a perfect tropical escape, white sand, turquoise water stretching out forever. The Maldives has a way of popping into so many of our minds when we think of pure peace.
Mm, it really does.
Huh.
That classic postcard image.
Exactly. So today, instead of just dreaming, we're taking a proper deep dive into what a trip there is actually like.
Okay.
We'll be focusing on a 12-day stay on Kuredu Island, which is about, 152 kilometers north of the capital, Malé, and we're drawing on a first-hand account.
Oh, nice. A personal take. And it's great because we're not just getting that personal experience of being right there on Kuredu. We also have some really helpful background info about the Maldives as a country.
Right.
Things like its, unique geography, what makes the economy tick, and a bit about the culture, too. It gives us a much richer picture, I think.
Yeah, totally. We've got this blog post that really puts you right there. You feel like you're on Kurudu. But then alongside that, some broader info from the same website that gives us that, essential context.
Hmm.
So if you've ever been curious about the Maldives, or maybe you just want to experience a little vicarious sunshine right now,
Who wouldn't?
this is your quick route to understanding what makes it tick. We're going to unpack the practical stuff, the moments that make you go, wow, and hopefully, a few aha moments along the way.
Sounds good. Where do we start? Kuredu itself.
Let's do that. So, Kuredu. What made it the chosen destination in this account? Why Kuredu specifically?
Well, a personal story highlights a few pretty compelling reasons.
Yeah.
First off, the sheer variety of restaurants available on the island was a big plus.
Choice. Always good.
Yeah, suggests plenty of options when it comes to dining. Then there's the all-inclusive option.
Right, that takes the stress out of budgeting, doesn't it?
It really does for many travelers. It offers that sense of ease, lets you fully switch off without, constantly thinking about the cost of every meal and drink.
Makes sense.
And, crucially, the wide range of activities. It wasn't just about lying on the beach, apparently.
Oh.
Water sports, of course, like snorkeling and diving. But also land-based options. Tennis, badminton, even golf, yoga. It sounds like a resort that caters to quite different preferences.
Okay, so quite a bit going on if you wanted it. And the timing of the trip, January 2017, just after Christmas, that seems pretty smart too.
Yeah, especially for someone traveling from, say, Ireland, like our source blogger. Prime time for an escape to the sun when it's cold and gray back home.
And our general info backs that up, right?
Yeah.
January is bang in the middle of the Maldives dry season.
Exactly. That runs roughly November to April. So we're talking minimal rain, hot temperatures, and those incredibly clear blue skies you always see in the photos. Just perfect for a winter beach break.
Definitely the ideal window weather-wise.
Absolutely. That dry season is a major draw. And the accommodation they had on Kuredu sounds, idyllic. A one-room beach villa. Literally steps from the ocean.
Wow, steps away.
Yeah, maybe 10 meters, he counts it.
Yeah.
That kind of direct access makes it so easy to just wander out for a swim or, importantly, snorkeling.
Oh, fantastic. Just grab your gear and go.
Pretty much. Though, it's worth mentioning, they had one of those cool outdoor bathrooms, shower, tub, toilet, all outside.
Oh, I love those, but
yeah, the potential for mosquitoes is real. So maybe pack a bit of insect repellent alongside the sunscreen. A small price to pay, perhaps.
I'd say so for having amazing snorkeling practically on your doorstep.
It really speaks to that, seamless connection with nature that kind of defines a Maldivian holiday. And the blog post mentions this lovely phrase, barefoot luxury.
Barefoot luxury, I like that. What does it mean in practice?
Just the freedom of literally going without shoes most of the time. Embracing a more relaxed, unhurried rhythm.
It's interesting how shedding those everyday things like shoes can really help you feel like you're letting go and properly on vacation.
Yeah, it's symbolic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Kicking off the constraints of normal life. And getting to Kuredu wasn't just a quick hop, was it? It involved that seaplane.
Right. A 45-minute seaplane flight from Malé. And it sounds like it wasn't just transport. It was actually a highlight of the trip itself.
Yeah, the blogger described the aerial views as unforgettable. Just this incredible tapestry of turquoise lagoons, coral reefs, emerald green islands.
You can just picture it.
Totally.
Yeah.
They even gave a great tip. Try to sit on the left side of the plane on the way to Kuredu for the best views.
An insider tip. Definitely one to jot down if you're ever planning that journey.
For sure.
And once they were actually on the island, what was the daily vibe like? It sounds wonderfully slow from the description.
Oh, completely. Coffee on the patio, a morning dip in the ocean, just strolling along the beach, snorkeling whenever the mood struck.
Nice.
Lazy afternoons, maybe reading a book, and then sunset cocktails. It paints such a vivid picture of really peaceful, chilled-out days.
That's the dream, isn't it? That complete shift in tempo, escaping the usual hustle and bustle.
Exactly. It's what so many people are looking for in that kind of getaway. And the
Yes.
snorkeling, as we touched on, seems to have been a real standout.
They used the word spectacular, didn't they?
They did. Snorkeling right off the house reef, that's the reef directly accessible from the island, and seeing turtles, reef sharks, don't worry, the harmless kinds,
Phew.
rays, and just clouds of colorful fish. Plus, there was the option of going on guided snorkeling safaris to explore other reefs nearby, too.
So plenty for underwater enthusiasts.
Absolutely. It really underscores the incredible biodiversity there, which both the personal account and our general info really emphasize. That easy access to such vibrant marine life is just a huge, huge attraction for the Maldives.
Okay, let's switch gears slightly. Food. You mentioned the variety of restaurants and the all-inclusive plan. Any specific highlights?
Yeah, the account mentioned a couple by name. Bonthi sounded like the place for a more casual vibe, lots of fresh seafood.
Sounds good.
And then Kwama's offered things like curries and Maldivian specialties, so a chance to try some local flavors.
Nice to have that mix.
Definitely. The fact that there are several different themed restaurants dotted around the island adds to the experience, gives each evening a slightly different feel.
Yeah, stops it feeling repetitive.
Exactly. And they also mentioned a really special meal, a romantic dinner at a place called The Beach. Fine dining, under the stars, lobster, the works.
Ah, okay, that sounds like the quintessential Maldivian indulgence moment.
Doesn't it just? Definitely an experience to remember.
But the Maldives is, of course, more than just these beautiful resorts. Geographically, it's such a unique place.
It really is. You've got those 26 atolls. And for anyone listening who isn't sure, an atoll is basically a ring-shaped coral reef or a string of islands formed around a lagoon.
And the most striking fact, I think, is that the Maldives is the lowest lying country in the world. The average elevation is just 1.5 meters above sea level.
It's incredible, isn't it? And that geographical context is so, so important for understanding the Maldives. That low elevation really highlights the country's vulnerability to climate change and rising sea levels. It's a huge concern for the nation's future.
It absolutely is a crucial perspective to keep in mind. Now, what about Malé, the capital? Does it feature much in the typical tourist experience?
Well, it has its own points of interest, like a bustling fish market, restaurants, shops, that sort of thing. But it sounds like most tourists, especially if they're heading to more remote resorts like Kuredu,
Which is quite far out, 152 kilometers.
exactly, they tend to stay put on their chosen island. The distances between these atolls and the need for those seaplane transfers really creates that sense of being on your own private island paradise, I suppose.
Right, it fosters that isolation. Though I guess resorts closer to Malé might be reachable by speedboat.
That's right. That's a key practical point. For a more far-flung island like Kuredu, the seaplane is often the only way in and out. It really emphasizes the unique geography and the logistics involved.
Okay, some other practicalities. The official currency is the Maldivian rupiah, population around 500,000, scattered across the islands. And our traveler had a really positive experience with the staff at the resort, didn't they?
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
Describe them both, Maldivian and international staff, often from India and nearby regions, as courteous, friendly, and having this real sense of serenity about them.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah, that high level of service seems to be a real hallmark of Maldivian hospitality. That human element, the positive interactions, they undoubtedly make a big difference to the whole trip.
And language wasn't an issue.
Not at all, apparently. English is widely spoken by resort staff and, according to our background source, by Maldivians in general, especially in tourist areas. So that removes a potential barrier for lots of international visitors.
Good to know. And we have to come back to the marine life because it just sounds so central to the experience.
Oh, absolutely. Dolphins, whale sharks, those gentle giants, manta rays gliding past, turtles everywhere. It truly sounds like an underwater paradise.
This diversity is just staggering.
It really is. And it's a primary reason people flock there. The fact that resorts like Kuredu often have these impressive house reefs you can snorkel or dive right from the shore, well, it gives you an unparalleled chance to see all this incredible life up close.
Now, thinking about the country more broadly economically, it seems tourism is absolutely dominant.
Hugely dominant. Over 70% of GDP, according to our source. Fishing, especially tuna, is the other main pillar.
But with limited natural resources otherwise, they rely heavily on imports for many things.
Yes, that's the reality. Which really underlines how vital it is for them to protect that natural beauty which draws the tourists in the first place. Sustainable tourism isn't just a buzzword there. It's crucial for the economy and the environment's long-term health.
Makes sense. And safety-wise, generally okay for tourists.
Generally considered very safe, especially on the resort islands themselves. Like anywhere, you take sensible precautions. And our source mentions petty theft can be a minor concern on some local inhabited islands, but overall, it's seen as a secure destination.
Good. And getting around between islands, we mentioned seaplanes and speedboats. Are there other options, like ferries?
Yes, local ferries connect some of the inhabited islands, offering a more budget-friendly option than private speedboats or seaplanes, but they operate on schedules and might not serve the resort islands directly. On the local islands themselves, people mostly get around by walking or cycling.
Okay. And the weather, we know January is dry season, but overall it's warm year-round.
Pretty much always warm, tropical, and humid. But yeah, knowing the difference between that drier season, November to April, and the wetter season, May to October, is definitely important when you're planning.
Because the wet season means more rain.
You're more likely to get periods of heavier rainfall, yes. You can still get plenty of sunshine, but it's less consistently dry than during the dry season.
Right. Makes sense to aim for November to April if you can. Now, what about Maldivian food beyond the resorts? Any specific dishes mentioned?
The background info mentions it's a fascinating fusion. You get Indian, Sri Lankan, Arabic influences. Fish, coconut, and rice are the staples.
That's delicious.
Yeah, examples like mashuni, which is often a breakfast dish with tuna, coconut, onion, and chili and various fish curries called riha. But it also notes that resorts cater widely to international tastes too, so you're not limited if local cuisine isn't your thing.
Good to have options. Okay, let's circle back specifically to the Kuredu experience and pull out some key takeaways from that personal account.
Sure. Well, number one is a clear recommendation. The traveler loved it and expressed a real desire to return.
That's a strong endorsement.
Definitely. And that fantastic snorkeling right off the beach was obviously a massive highlight.
Unforgettable, it sounds like.
Yeah. Along with those memorable dining experiences, eating great food in such beautiful settings.
Right, like that dinner under the stars.
Exactly. Now, on the practical side, they gave a ballpark cost maybe $4,000 to $5,000 per person for a similar 12-day trip back in 2017. A significant chunk of that would be the flights and transfers, naturally.
Good to have a rough idea, though obviously prices change. Anything else specific to Kuredu?
It mentions that some areas of the resort, like a section called the O Resort, are adults only. That might be a plus for couples or those seeking extra tranquility.
Ah, good detail. And those packing tips.
Yes, really practical ones. Definitely pack reef-friendly sunscreen. Super important to protect the coral.
Absolutely crucial.
And pack light, especially on footwear. You'll likely be barefoot or in flip-flops most of the time. Leave the fancy shoes at home.
Good advice. Embrace the barefoot luxury.
That's the one. And maybe just on a more reflective note, the whole Kuredu experience seemed to offer this genuine chance to just unwind, to reconnect, to enjoy that barefoot simplicity, but also have just the right dash of indulgence.
Finding that balance.
Exactly. Escaping the everyday, finding a different, slower rhythm. It really gets to the heart of why people seek out places like the Maldives, that chance to disconnect from stress and just soak in the natural beauty and peace.
There was also that insightful quote shared at the end of the blog post, wasn't there?
Ah, yes. You should travel away from home to really appreciate the value of what you have at home on your return.
It's that fresh perspective, isn't it? Stepping outside your routine can really make you see things differently when you get back.
It's so true. It's a powerful reminder that travel isn't just about seeing new places, lovely as that is. It's also about, well, personal growth and maybe a renewed appreciation for our own lives.
So, wrapping this all up, our deep dive into the Maldives, seen through this Kuredu adventure, really paints a picture of a truly special destination. It seems to be a place where that stunning natural beauty, the water, the reefs, the islands, meets a wonderfully relaxed way of life.
And that incredible underwater world, of course.
Absolutely. It's this unique blend of adventure, if you want it, with the snorkeling and diving and pure tranquility. It clearly leaves a lasting mark on people.
It really does seem to. And it prompts an interesting thought, perhaps, for you listening. What kind of slice of paradise resonates most with your own need for peace and rejuvenation? Where do you picture yourself going to truly disconnect, to find that stillness surrounded by nature's beauty? Everyone's ideal escape is different, isn't it?
That's fantastic food for thought. A great question to ponder. And if you are keen to dive even deeper into the specifics of our traveler's Kuredu experience, you should definitely check out the blog we mentioned, Just Retired 50+.
Yeah, sounds like there are more travel stories and helpful tips there, too. Thanks again for joining me for this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time.
Goodbye.